Are you a painting company that uses PaintScout to send quotes to your customers? And are you looking for an automated solution to send all the details of that quote to your CRM system so that it's automatically updated? Well, check this out because this is a huge time saver. I've got a quote right here in PaintScout I just created with just a sample one here, front rooms, bathroom. I've got my main client, Luke Skywalker here. I'm going to save this quote and I'm going to send the quote to Luke Skywalker. So I go ahead and send this, and the best part about this, Luke's email is a fake email, so it didn't go through. Surprise. Don't try and email luke@theforce.com. But it still works because this automation is triggered based on the quote being sent. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my own email here, and we'll go ahead and send that. So just sent the quote, and now check this out. This is the coolest part, especially for your sales reps. I'm using the example here of HubSpot. This would work with Pipedrive, Salesforce, Pipeline, any Copper, any modern CRM system should be able to receive this information. And we'll dive into the specifics of HubSpot. But if there's a particular app or thing that you're looking to integrate with, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see if I can make a video just for that one. But check this out. Moments after sending it, I can refresh this side of the quote here, and you'll see that the quote has now been automatically updated to the stage bid sent. The dollar amount has been entered in here. I can scroll down and see the number of hours that were in the quote. So you can check over here and look at the quote here. If I go to calculations, you can see that the total number of hours right here, 15.5. The quote ID 221752, that came over. The URL of the quote itself, so I could click here, open it up, and I can see the actual quote that the customer would receive. The work order, the deposit amount that is required for this job. And not only that, but I can also transfer over the job site city, the state, the zip code, the project contact, like all of this information immediately coming back to your CRM system and updating. This is a huge game changer, and that's what I'm going to show you step by step in this video, how to do what I just showed you here. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Chris. I am the owner of Boolean Automation. We are a very niche automation consulting business. We work specifically with painting companies. I've built a course. We have a review software that's going to crush it for painting businesses. If you are a painting company, please like this video, subscribe to the channel because I'm making content specifically for you. This is an example of one of those videos. You can check out all the other videos that we've created, but this is the dream for a painting business. I used to be a marketing director for a regional painting company, and I implemented all these processes, and now I've done that for a dozen other companies around the country. So without further ado, let's get into how we go through this. The first thing I just want to point out, the way that this happens is every CRM system has for a deal or an opportunity or whatever you call the opportunity that you are tracking. In HubSpot, they call it a deal. There is a unique record ID for this deal. Oftentimes you can find it in the URL of the deal. So you can see here, this number is the unique identifier for this deal. And what a lot of people don't realize is that inside of PaintScout in the advanced section, there's a thing called integration source ID. And you'll notice in this case that ID matches the deal record inside of here exactly. And so when the quote is sent, using Zapier, we are able to automatically transfer the information from PaintScout over to the CRM system of your choice. In this case, like I said, we're using HubSpot. So how do we do that? The way that we do that, I have a little diagram here that I want to show you, is I always recommend go start with a process map of how you want or what you want to have happen. So in this case, what I'm looking for is when the quote is sent from PaintScout, I want that to be the trigger, and then go back and update the deal properties inside of the CRM of my choosing, in my case, HubSpot. And I want to move that deal to bid sent in addition to updating things like hours, dollars, deposit, all that stuff. So how do you do that? Well, the way that you need to do that is you actually need to go take a step back. So when the quote is created in PaintScout, and I have a separate video, I'll link down in the description of specifically how to set up an automation to automatically create PaintScout quotes. If you haven't seen that, you can watch that after this video. But first, you have to, when the estimate appointment is scheduled, you need to do a series of automations, one of them being give the deal ID from HubSpot and pass that over to PaintScout. This is a necessary step first, and that is, in my case, I like using You Can Book Me. You can use any scheduling tool, Calendly, HubSpot has one. If there's a different tool that you use, you can put all the information into a booking form, and then you can create the deal in HubSpot first. That's going to generate your unique record ID. Then you create the PaintScout quote, and then you go back and you update your deal with the PaintScout quote information. And all that happens before the estimate ever takes place. So the PaintScout quote is then basically sitting in PaintScout waiting for the estimator to fill that quote out. And then once they send that quote, now we jump over to here, and that's what's going to go through and update the deal properties and move it to the bid send stage. And by the way, this is just a short, like a 5% snippet. This is an example of a process map that I teach painting businesses how to implement for their painting business. So this is literally everything from the web form being submitted all the way through scheduling the lead, booking the call, running the estimate appointment, the client accepting the proposal, the estimator winning that job, sending it to finance, putting it into the production schedule. I map out everything, exactly how to do this, the strategies behind this. But I just want to point out that this is a part of a much bigger system that I'm happy to go over. If you're interested in that, you can subscribe to the channel, find the link to my website, book a call. Happy to go into that further. But now I want to show you, how do you actually set this up? All right, so in order to get started here, this is the step-by-step process of how we're going to do this. You're going to need a You Can Book Me account or some similar scheduling software. You're going to need a Zapier account. You're going to need your access to your CRM and then access to PaintScout. So the first thing that you do is, like I said, and then Miro to map this out. So we're going to start with, this is going to be a Zapier automation. We're going to start with a trigger being You Can Book Me, a booking scheduled. And then we're going to create a deal in HubSpot, create a quote in PaintScout, and then update HubSpot. The great thing about Zapier is they now have this create a Zap using AI. So I can literally type in when an estimate, or sorry, I guess we'll say an appointment is scheduled in You Can Book Me. I want to create a deal in HubSpot, then create a quote in PaintScout, and then update the deal in HubSpot with the information of the previous steps. So using this little thing, I can click generate, and you will see it's going to take a few seconds here. And one thing is that PaintScout does not have a publicly visible Zapier integration. However, they do have a public Zap. There's just a link. I'm going to put the link to activate the PaintScout Zap in the description down below so you can check that out. But basically, this is the step. So we've got our You Can Book Me. We've got the deal in HubSpot. We've got this, which we're going to change to PaintScout. And then we have the update the deal in HubSpot. So this is going to be automation number one. So we click try it. And so I've got when an appointment is scheduled and You Can Book Me. We can go in here and you just have to connect it to the You Can Book Me account that you're using. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And then if you log into You Can Book Me on the cog menu in the top right, we click integrations. So we're going to go to You Can Book Me here, the top, integrations. So you're going to go ahead and copy this key, go back to here. We're going to paste in the key, click yes. And then I go back to here and it now says that this is connected. So I'm going to say this is always recommend renaming this. So I'm going to put in Kennedy YouTube example. You Can Book Me. Okay. So now I have my You Can Book Me connected. And then I need to pick the profile that I'm going to use. So I'm going to go back to my main screen here. And I'm just going to create a new booking page. So this is going to be an individual booking page, and that's fine if it's for that one. 1 hour. You can customize all these however you'd like. I'm just going to call this YouTube example. How do you want to meet? We're just going to leave this one as no location. Click create booking page. So now I have this copy booking page link. And the only thing you need to do is just think about what are the properties that you would need to collect from the customer in order to create a quote. So generally, I recommend something, you're going to need the first name, last name. I like doing it would be a short answer for like street address. So we can do street address and then just call this street. And this shorthand code is going to be looked up in Zapier. So we're going to go ahead and click. I always like making all these fields required. So we've got the short answer for that one. And then I can just copy this because I'm going to need a couple more. So this one can be our city, our state, our zip. So go ahead and just rename these. This is going to be city. And the next one is going to be state. And the last one will be zip. Okay, so we've got first name, last name, email. Let's go ahead and put in the phone number. That's a good one. So we got phone number here. We'll just call this phone. And again, you can go through. I would say the only other one that I would recommend is project type. Obviously, if you're curious, I have like 20 properties in my course that I go over exactly how to do this. So again, if that's of interest, you can click the link below to get some more information on that. That's a intensive. That's a 3-month process. We only do this quarterly, so you can get on the wait list for the next time that we launch this course. But we have this. We're going to do a multiple choice, and I'm going to call this one project type. So we'll call this proj type, and we're going to do quick note here. If you go and look in your PaintScout account, you can set up this thing for your types. If we go to account settings, there are these quotes, and you can have quote types that are interior, exterior, INTP, INTC, and so on. So we can have these specific quote types. And I always recommend making the project types on your You Can Book Me form match this. So I'm going to go for INTP, INTC, EXTP, EXTS, and this stands for interior painting, interior cabinets, exterior painting, exterior stain, exterior wash, for example. So I'm going to go here and click INTP, INTC, and we'll also do EXTS and EXT wash. So go ahead and save those changes. And again, for the sake of this demonstration, I think that pretty much covers enough to show you what I want to do. But again, you could put in as many properties as you'd like. So we go ahead and we're going to go test this. So I'm going to go to here and I'm going to click run an appointment for 6 a.m. on Monday. And we're going to do Darth Vader, Darth at BooleanReview.com. It's going to be 123 East Empire Boulevard, Galaxy, and 12345. Phone number 555 123 12345. Is that going to accept it? And interior painting. So I go ahead and click. Oh, you know what? Here you go. Here's my number. Go ahead, text me if you want to chat more. 971-300-4677. So go ahead and confirm booking. And then if we go back to Zapier, I can go in and click the one that I just created here, which is that VOXRN. If you're wondering which one it would be, you can see VOXRN is the type right here. So we go ahead and click that one. Click continue, and now it's listening. So we're going to test the trigger. And I should have done this before, so because I just submitted that. Let me go back to here. So I can go to the view bookings, and I'm just going to rebook this one that I just booked. So rebook, click rebook, and I'm going to pick just the very next time. Go ahead, rebook that whole thing. Now I come over here, and so testing. And here we go. So we have that one that came through. And that's critical to get a test data so we can do the next steps here. But we're going to continue to the next record, choose the account. We're going to integrate with the test account that we're using here. So I go ahead and do that. Click continue. So in this case, we're going to create a deal, and it's a good idea to also create a contact, associate those. Just for the sake of the demo here, that's not necessary to show you how to do this. So I'm just going to keep it simple for creating the deal. So the name of the deal, I'm going to do last name space, first name space, type of project. So we go down to our project type that we've selected, which is, let's search for it. There we go, project type. And we're going to do the date. So the date that it was scheduled, and do that. There's another formatting step you could do if you wanted to clean that up so it doesn't look as weird there. But again, for the sake of this, you get the idea. Sales pipeline. And the stage, again, this is right when the appointment is booked. So we want the stage of the pipeline to be bid scheduled. The appointment date, that's easy. Start time of the booking is going to be 10:30. So we can go ahead and do that. And the rest of this stuff, you can go ahead and fill out if you'd like to now, or we can do it later. I'm going to go ahead and do it later. I think, did we get all the key stuff? So we've got the stages. Let's go ahead and do project type as well. So, whoops, project type. So we've got INTP, or whoops, we want to do custom, and we want it to be filled out dynamically by the project type that's entered. So it'll automatically switch. All right, so now we're going to go to the bottom of the page here, click continue, test step. And then this one, we're going to pick stencil for some reason. I don't know why, but like I said, you can integrate or select the link down that I put in the description to get PaintScout to show up. And go ahead to the latest version of PaintScout. So we've got this version of PaintScout, and we're going to do create a quote. So we create a quote and continue. And then we need to sign in to PaintScout. So we go over. And if you're logged into PaintScout in the browser, it should automatically connect right here for you. So it's just going to look for that PaintScout connection. And then we can go ahead as usual. This one actually named it nicely for us. So we continue. And now the quote date, we can once again take from the start time of the booking. And the quote type, here's where I said we want to do, if you name the project type the same as the quote type, you can just do a custom variable here and pick the random variable that changes each time. So it's going to say INTP. And the template type, same thing. So you can make templates that are built on the project types that you select. The owner email, normally you would make one of these for each estimator. So whichever estimator's calendar you created this for, that's the one that you would assign this to. So for example, I'm just going to pick Josh here and then continue on. So contact first name. Now again, this is F name, and then we go to the next one here, last name, and these are all the fields that were filled out on that form. So contact email, we can put in email, and we don't need an alternate email. The contact address, so we have the address field, or I think we said street, there we go, street, and the contact phone number, and the alternate phone we don't need. The contact city, we called that one city. So grab the city and the state and the zip. Okay, now this is the big one right here. So if we go down, these ones are job site, we can fill those in too. So again, these are probably going to be the same ones. So we'll go ahead and keep those like they were before. Fill in all these variables. City, whoops, city, address. Oh, sorry, I keep messing that up. Street is what we want. Oh, that was state. Whoops, job site, state. Okay, so we've got the zip code, street address, state. All right, now right here, source ID, integration source ID. This is huge. This is the one of the quote that we just created. So we just created that quote in HubSpot. Here is the secret sauce. You put the ID of that quote in your PaintScout quote. So now when I create this, I'm going to click test step inside my PaintScout account as soon as this finishes. you will see that Darth Vader will have a quote created for it. And so let's go back to quotes here, and you're going to see on the day that let's search for him because Darth Vader. So on 10:30, that's when I scheduled it. All of the information is in here, and you can see this is now created, which this is a huge win in itself for your sales team to be able to see this and have this sit in there waiting for them. So all they have to do is fill out the quote below. Now you can see that source ID has the ID that we just told it to write there. So we're very close. Now, next part here, I can go back, connect to HubSpot again, continue, and then the action that I want to do here is just update the quote ID. So now that I've created the quote in PaintScout, I want to update the quote ID inside of the HubSpot deal that I just created. So once this refreshes, let's go ahead and click continue here. Oh, actually, is that the right one? HubSpot Hub, yeah. Continue. There we go. So the object ID is going to be the ID of the deal that we just created in step 2. And then all we need to do is go down to the custom property that we created, PaintScout quote ID, and then you go to the quote, and I think PaintScout calls this the quote number. There we go. And now we have the quote number in the quote ID field. And that is it. So we can go down to the bottom and click test step. And this, because it's always great to name these, this is going to be estimate scheduled in You Can Book Me. And then I like to do an arrow, auto create quote in PaintScout. All right, so that is and if you want, I would actually recommend numbering this. This is automation number 1. And we can go ahead and publish this. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on. It's publishing. And the only other thing I'm going to do, just because to keep myself organized, is I'm marking that this is a YouTube automation that I'm demoing. So I have that in there. Okay, so we did the first one now. So we have a quote that is created in PaintScout. That was the first part. Now, first of all, give yourselves a pat on the back because you're 30 minutes into this thing and you've successfully automatically created quotes in PaintScout for your sales team. Huge win in itself. But now, let's say when this quote is sent, we want to go update the deal inside of HubSpot. So what we have to do now is go back to here, and we're going to say, when a quote is sent in PaintScout, automatically update the HubSpot quote. So we click that, and it's going to, again, pick the wrong PaintScout one because for some reason it doesn't want to do that, but we'll go ahead and click that. We're going to try this. And then again, we're going to go to this first trigger step, go back to the app, change this out for PaintScout once again, select the latest version of the PaintScout integration, and we want to do when quote is sent. And actually, the one that this one that says triggers when a quote has been sent or resent. You want both of those. So go ahead and click continue, and we want this to be the quote view. The quote type doesn't matter, so we're going to go ahead and leave that blank and continue. And now it's waiting. So it's all connected. It's just waiting for us to actually send a quote. So go back to this demo quote that you made. If you don't have any areas, you might have to switch the quote type. And now you should have the areas in there. So bathroom, but you just need to get something in here to give you a number. So now you can go over here and double check the calculations. We've got hours, we've got a sales rate, we've got a total amount. So we're good here. We hit save and send the quote. And I can go ahead, text it to myself as well, send. And then if you look here, we've got back to Zapier. Generally, I like waiting about 30 seconds for Zapier to intercept that quote being sent. Let's go ahead and test it. And Is this the right quote? Let's go ahead and search for Darth Vader. Looks like that is not. So let's find new records. And there we go, our new one. Make sure this is Darth. And there we go, Darth. There, perfect. So now we continue with the selected record. And the next step is just the connecting your HubSpot account again. So we're going to choose that same HubSpot account that you've been using this entire time. We'll click continue. And again, remember, if you don't use HubSpot, do this with any other one. You'd be updating a deal. So we want to update the HubSpot quote. That's the step that we're doing. So the object ID, here's that magic that we just programmed in the first automation, is the source ID, the down at the bottom here, source ID, this deal. That is the HubSpot deal record ID. And that is what is allowing us to go automatically update the information that we want to update in the quote. So let's go ahead and just make sure. Oh, I should have clarified. It looks like it picked the wrong one. HubSpot, we do not want to update contact. We want to update the deal. This is critical. So make sure you update the deal, not the contact. So we're still connected to the right account. Now for the action here, we want the object ID, again, like I said, to be the source ID. And there should be that deal ID in there. We want to move this in the sales pipeline to the bid sent stage. This is another minor thing, but it's a big win. So when the quote is sent, obviously, let's move it in the pipeline to the bid sent stage so that sales rep doesn't have to do that. All this other stuff should be there, but if you wanted to, I always like writing the billing address and the job site address to update this. So for example, we've got the address, so the billing contact address right here. So we can put that in there. The billing city, billing email, billing contact email, perfect. Billing contact first name, billing contact last name, billing phone, and billing zip. All right, so we did that. Let's go find that amount field. So this is the deal revenue amount. That's the total amount. So here we want to go to the total field, and this will be totals. Depending on which one you're wanting to bring in, I think that what you want is the totals after discount. It's in my opinion. Depending upon how you do that, do you want to include tax, not include tax? I'm going to do the totals after discount. But just keep in mind that PaintScout does spit out a couple different ones for you. So like the total price, that might be the one that you want if you want to show before the discount was applied. I like the after discount. And the rest of this, like deal owner, generally you would have applied that at the previous stage. I don't think I did that, but that's where you would do that. But just keep in mind, you can update whatever else you want in here. Oh, and hours. That's another super simple one. Estimated hours. So we can go in and grab the total hours. Oh, and almost forgot, work order and the quote. This is another big, huge time saver. So the quote URL. This is a custom property I would highly recommend adding in there, because if you look for the quote URL quote right here, we can paste that in there. And I always recommend putting in the work order as well. So work order, and there we go. So now we just transferred over all that information. I can go ahead and click continue, test the step. And when I go back to HubSpot and look at that particular deal that was created, I'm going to grab this ID to find the exact one that we're messing with here. Okay, so find this deal here. And because I tested it, you can see it's already been updated to the bid sent stage. The amount is in there. So we successfully did exactly what we were hoping to do, put all that information here. If again, there's more stuff that you want to transfer over from PaintScout, you can do that. But this is the biggest thing, like I just showed you. You can now, if I go back to this Miro map, you can have an automation. So when the appointment is booked, these series of things happen. And then when the quote is sent in PaintScout, you automatically go update that information for the sales rep. Super powerful. Go ahead. You can publish this one as well. Change the name of this. So PaintScout quote sent. And I like doing this dash arrow HubSpot quote updated. And I'm putting in the YouTube example there. And we go ahead and click publish. And there we go. So hopefully this was helpful. Like I said, guys, this is like a snippet, a small taste of what my company does. We, on average, save painting companies about an hour of manual data entry for every single project that you process. So if this was of value to you, first of all, you can like the video, share it with your other painting friends, subscribe to the channel because I'm making more content just for you. But if you're interested or intrigued, schedule a consultation with me and my team. I'd love to walk through what else we could potentially do for you. On average, our ideal customer is between 4 million and 7 million in revenue. If you're smaller than that, we've worked with companies as small as 2 million in revenue. And if you're smaller than that, we've got a course so you can implement these automations for yourself. So however I can help, leave a comment down below, send me a message. What other questions do you have that you would like to have answered? Please leave those in the comments below or email me. That is also down in the description. Like the video, subscribe. Thank you for watching. My name is Chris from Boolean, where we free you up to do what you love.